So if anybody ever asks you, why should we fix my fire escape, you can use this as a poster to remind you that this could be the tenant, this could be the fireman. By the way, one of my guys in Chicago, his father, 57 years old, fell 7 stories to his death fixing a fire escape, doing exactly this. And we have architects and engineers that have fallen through fire escapes. And we also have an architect, a woman in New York City, who stepped on a tread that was welded years ago, and that one piece of tread fell and killed a guy in New York City. It fell 8 stories, hit him on the head, killed him instantly, and then it hit the ground and hit this girl walking the opposite way. So now fire escape pieces are falling off these fire escapes onto a main street. And sometimes your guy is doing an inspection, triggering that, puts a liability on you. But if there was a 5-year done a year before, and you dislodge one of those treads, who gets sued? Who's everybody sued? 5-year guy. That's why when you look at your architects, your engineers, and your others, make sure they have 3 insurances. Workers' comp, life, because they can get hurt, you know, walking in. Some engineers do not have workers' comp. Liability, and that means something fell, hit a car or hit a person. And the third one is errors and omissions insurance for fire escapes. So that in case he misses something, there's this beautiful umbrella over him. Not all engineers, not all architects are going to have all 3. Very expensive to have. We have all 3. That's one of the reasons why we do a lot of the training, is to let people know that be careful. There is prices out there but it reflects what they have for coverage.
The question is, how do we know if they had a 5-year?
Oh no, but that's a good thing.
Who's going to provide the...
You're going to ask them, did you do a 5-year yet? That's it. Now, whether or not John modifies his document. So today, we're not here to have John modify the document. When I'm the one that told John, it was a couple months back, I said, John, are you aware that in 2017, the 5-year came out? He asked me, can you give me all the information on it? Because again, he's doing this part-time. So he is here for that very same reason you guys are here, that this 5 came on suddenly for the whole state. And he's just trying to merge it. But right now, ideally, the best way to handle it right now, under a Reg 1, is that you're doing an annual, and as soon as you do the annual and you're filling out your paperwork through Brycer, and you've realized this guy's never had a 5, you turn that 1 into a 5. And now who you contact is up to you to come and do the 5 for you. You understand? And then you report back to John that there's an attached report coming. You just fill out the annual saying it needs a 5-year. Because you weren't able to conclude your full inspection because there's structural issues, right? So you report that on your report back to...
Are you going to show where that's coming from? You said 2017, but where's that at?
On the IFC 1104. So I'll pull it up on the...
2017?
Yeah, January 1 to 2017.
IFC?
IFC 2000 in California.
It can't be, because the IFC's not on.
No, it was adopted in 2016 and implemented January 1, 2017.
It was in the 2015 IFC.
Correct. It's the 2015 IFC, but adopted in 2016, but implemented in 2017, January 1.
California picked it up in
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah. We're already getting the calls up from Oakland and from all these other places that we were never getting 5-year calls. Now we're getting 5-year calls.
No, did the state pick that up?
Well, each city is picking it up, meaning
No, I know, but California didn't pick that up.
the state of California, yeah. It was adopted by the...
It's actually adopted.
Adopted, but then implemented in January 1. It was adopted in 2016, but then it was implemented in January 2017.
You sure? It's not by reference.
I believe it's, well, I'll double check, because again, we had another case that we were doing, and if I'm not mistaken, when we were doing San Diego, Alan, wasn't that one of the pieces that came in?
Well, that was prior.
You're talking about chapter 11?
Yeah, 1104. He'll take a peek at, but again, when we got it, we started putting it out to word, and we've gotten calls now already from Northern California saying that we've been being requested for 5 years, where they were never, like Oakland is requesting 5 years because it's in the book.
And I get it, the city can pick it up. question, but I want to know if the state of California actually adopted that.
Yeah.
I think it's just referenced.
Okay, we'll double check, but whenever it hits the news, we pretty much, you know, try to get it out there to us.
A lot of stuff, you guys, just so you know, it may be, we all adopt the international code, or on Cisco, unless you were gonna talk about this, but we all, the international code is the model. California adopts the international code, and this is a 3-year cycle. Los Angeles will adopt California's code with our amendments. So internationally, there's the code. California adopts that code, does what they want with it. City of Los Angeles adopts things. However, there's things that the state of California says, you shall do this, period. Everybody has to do it. A lot of things, the state says, this is out there. If you guys want to do this, if the city of LA, Pasadena, if you guys want to pick up this particular section of the code, you can do it. The state is not doing it. So, anyways, just so you understand, that's my question. Is that I didn't know if California making it mandatory, because if California makes it mandatory, then that's law. That's across the board. I have not.
Yeah, I think that's, so you're correct. So I've never said that California made it mandatory. I said it was adopted and it was implemented as 2017. But you're right, there's a step.
Right.
The International Building Code, the whole country gets to hear their idea. Then each state adopts it, amends it the way they want. They push it left, push it right. But it's pretty much the same thing with all these amendments. Now it becomes the state code. Then, depending on the size of your city, you'll either accept it as you accept the state, or your own city, like New York City, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, will further adapt it and say, our code that we've taken from the state, the state wants this, but we want this in our city. So, I never said that California now is enforcing the 5-year. I said they just adopted and implemented it as of January 1, 2017, which for you, it only means that the owner, regardless of how long it takes to whittle down and get to an ordinance or to get it on a checklist, is irrelevant for an owner. And that's what we're starting to see up in the north, is owners who are like major commercial players, they're already calling us for the 5-year. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I got a call, because we're doing New York City, that New York City, somebody was getting reinsured, and Travelers Insurance asked them for a copy of their certificate, their 5-year certificate. Because New York adopted it in the state, but New York City is a country all by itself, and has it, but the insurance says, I don't care. The insurance company just walks away from all this stuff and just comes in, I want it, you don't have it. Oh, but John Bell says, I don't care what John Bell. You're a high risk, we're not gonna cover.
Insurance.
Insurance just jumps right in.
They make the calls.
So guys, any other questions on that? Everybody clear? There's a washdown, okay?
The insurances are always asking about fire sprinkler testing, main drain test, test valve test. I'm just surprised they never mentioned fire escapes, any of the owners.
Bastard child of egress.
And you would want to think that, you know, they would want to get as much as possible because the owner is paying for it. The insurance is just asking, like, hey, I want this.
It's the bastard child of egress. It's been
Maybe
so bad.
They don't even realize
it was
right?
built like a brick shithouse 75 years ago, guys.
Yeah, it was.
They thought it would never go bad.
It's a death trap.
You know what I'm saying? So what happened is now it got so bad that this is what happens at every fire station. All the new guys coming in to be trained, and John alluded to this in the other part, he goes, in case of fire, don't use the fire escape. So they're trained to bring their own ladders or wait for equipment to arrive for them. I have photographs of them starting to retrain with ladders again and totally sidestep these ladders that you guys have been inspecting every year. They don't even get near them. Why? Why are they dragging these 20-foot, I think you guys work with 20-footer plus, 30-footers, right?
35-footers.
Yeah, and they basically have training. I had this one training shot of you guys in LA, and a bunch of guys walking this one ladder in a straight up position because you got to get it, and then you got to lead it to the fire escapes, and that's what they're trained to use, not your fire escape. What we're going to do is change that all around. Is it going to happen overnight? Nope. Is it going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years? Yes, it will, because every fire escape that you go to with 1, you ask for a 5, they don't have it. What does it trigger? Now, do you need to go there and find out if, when the client calls you, say, hey, I need to do my annual, say, great, I need a copy. This is all you say. I need a copy of your 5-year. The guy goes, what the hell is that? You've been doing my stuff. He goes, okay, if you don't have a copy of a 5-year, I need to order one of those for you. Got it? So now, he's still gonna get his annual, but what's he getting? He's getting a fail that says what? See attached report. From who?
5 years,
And who has the insurance for that? Who has the insurance for the 1 year? So there's the, okay? All right, so guys, this is what you're worried about, right? Look at these pictures. This is called a load test. This is what firemen, and look, if you look at the hats on these guys, this is pictures in the 30s and 40s. You know what kind of load testing needed to be done on fire escapes? None. You know how old they were back then? 25 years old on average. What could they hold? Look at all the people. Look at all these people. Right? A fire escape is 100 pounds per square foot. You know what that means? 100 pounds per square foot. I'll give you an example. If you have a 5x5 piece of platform, that's 25 square feet, right? Times 100, that's 2,500. Let me put some people on there for you. Let me put 150-pound tenants on there. That means I'm going to put 10 tenants in a 5x5 coming out of the building, and they have to wait there for some reason. Can you get 10 tenants in a 5x5 square if they weigh 150 pounds? That means they're only going to put 1,500 pounds on that box. How many pounds you still got over that? Another 1,000 to go. Now all those people get off, and all these firemen show up. I got 5 firemen that weigh 200 pounds apiece, plus 100 pounds of gear and stuff that they're wearing. I'm going to put 5 of those guys that weigh 300 pounds apiece in a 5x5. Can you get 5 firemen with all their gear on in a 5x5? That's 1,500 pounds, and I still have another 1,000 pounds to go. So you can put people on every piece of this fire escape. Will it ever fall? If it's properly maintained, properly attached to the building, it'll never fall. And that's what John needs. John wants to bring his team back to this, so that when they get there, they look at a fire escape, they can put all the men on it and do what? Get all the people out and do what? Not one worry. But right now, the reason why John's team trains them to bring their own ladders and don't ever get on a fire escape is because it's not painted right or it's not structurally sound. Who can inspect for structural adequacy? You or this guy? Okay, so divert the piece. And as you know, you guys all seen, I think John got to see some of the boxes. What's inside? You know? There's a little point in this, and if you step on it wrong, got it? All right. So guys, this happened in 2003.
The smoke, the flames, and the frightened faces. All the firefighters' line of duty. But Chief William Hitchcock remembers the night it wasn't the fire that almost stopped him,
Oh, I was scared to death.
but the fire escape that broke underneath him.
When the railing just came away from the building.
And our investigation found across Massachusetts more unsafe fire escapes. Rusty, deteriorating, crumbling, broken. And what state officials didn't know, the system they set up to keep fire escapes safe is also falling apart.
The potential ramifications are disastrous.
So let's look at this one. This expert ironworker is licensed to build, maintain, and inspect fire escapes. So then over here, for months, we examined dozens of them with alarming results.
Looking at this today, would this pass inspection?
No.
In dormitories, at theaters, at homes, and apartment buildings.
Rust is actually eating away the metal of the fire escape.
Right.
And the bottom line?
It'll get weak and then eventually it'll fall.
This one has rotted connections. This one missing bolts, twisted metal.
Would the stairs come down?
No, never come down.
This one a broken tread.
So how dangerous is it for the people inside this building?
This fire escape is definitely going to put somebody either in the hospital or it's going to put somebody in a cemetery.
Fire escapes are so critical. The state building code requires they be certified for structural adequacy and safety every 5 years. But our investigation found that safeguard is simply being ignored. Here's proof. We chose fire escapes at random in Boston, Somerville, Cambridge, Worcester, and here in Quincy. We checked building department files
But there's no fire escape certification.
to see if building owners had submitted their mandatory inspection reports.
There's no certification in this one either.
Bottom line, not one we checked in Quincy had been certified as safe. And the Director of Inspectional Services admitted because of staffing shortages, the city has no idea how many other fire escape owners are breaking the rules.
And as a result, do you know how many fire escapes in your city are safe or not?
Well, I don't know.
In Worcester, not one we checked was certified. In Somerville,
No.
4 more fire escapes,
To the fault of the cracks? Yeah.
not one up-to-date certification. And again, no system for keeping track.
How can they get away with that?
I guess that the shortest answer of all is because we don't have the resources to sit here and follow up on these things.
If structural deficiencies are reported, local building inspectors can actually evacuate residents until repairs are made.
Would you talk to us on camera about this? No?
But when we surveyed 24 more communities, most admitted they had no idea how many fire escapes were certified. In Taunton, inspectors told us they haven't seen a certification in 25 years. Northampton officials said it's a cold day in hell when that happens. In Cambridge, too, not one of our test buildings was certified, and the official in charge would not come out to discuss it. In Boston, where there are more than 8,000 fire escapes, again, according to inspectional services, not one we checked was certified. Officials know they are required to enforce the building code, but they admit they don't always know if owners are breaking the law.
The building code is being ignored.
Right, but it's difficult to write a violation when you don't have knowledge of something like that.
But state officials say for a critical issue like this, communities should know. And they warn the Massachusetts building code is not optional.
Does it worry you that these fire escapes are not being certified?
This is an important issue and should not be ignored.
That's because after the smoke and flames begin, it'll be too late to learn you've got no way out.
I can't stress it enough, Hank, that these things have to be maintained and someone's got to be watching.
As a result of our investigation, state officials will now issue an alert to local inspectors. Meanwhile, if there's a fire escape on your home or office, you can contact your local building department to make sure it's properly certified. In the newsroom, I'm Hank Philippi Ryan.
So, when did that come out? That came out right after the station night fire. Remember in Rhode Island, 100 people died inside a building that they were playing music and the fireworks started off the house on fire. That's when she called me. She says, I want to do a story on fire escapes. And all I did was train her. I walked her downtown. And I'll have to do that with John and any of his captains who do building inspections, because when I gave her a 15-minute class on how to inspect the fire escape. Not physically get on it, just from down below, verify if it's been kept painted and if it's structurally sound. She did this all by herself. I walked a little bit with her, but then I let her go and she just wrote this piece. Now this, she says, is a 5-year rule in Massachusetts. This is what triggered the 5-year rule. You're supposed to maintain your fire escapes at all times, but there was no 5-year rule. So this triggered a 5-year rule in '73. This is 2003. And I got another video that I just did in New York City, just came out yesterday. That I was there recording from the state of, in the city of Manhattan, another video, and it's 2018, 15 years later. The main problem is enforcement. Now, if you have a proper way of inspecting the 5 years and the 1 years, it takes care of itself. Because if everybody remembers here, sprinklers, 30 to 50 years ago, you might as well have a garden hose. But today, you don't have a sprinkler system in your building? Who knows? Everybody knows. If the sprinkler system's not working, who knows? Everybody knows. Who else? What happens is everybody who comes into the inspecting side of it now has been making it a piece of the code that says your building can't be open, your building can't be active, your building can't be occupied if the sprinkler systems are operating, correct? 30, 50 years ago, man, didn't matter. Okay? I'm about to play another video, so this is a good time for you guys to remember. Coffee. So let's refresh everybody's coffee and water, because we got some, now we're going to start watching some videos. We're going to start, asking questions. So I got water, I've got more, I've got juice, coffee, and you also have pastries. So reload your coffee, reload your water, because I'm about to answer some questions. In the meantime, anybody have questions so far on what they've seen?
So after this, can I become a tester?
Good, how are you?
Again, so with an inspector, you're asking different things. You already have a Reg 4 tester license. So they already have an assemblies tester for 1 year. But if you want to become an inspector, the only two people that can inspect right now is design professionals, so you either must be a registered architect, a registered, another Francisco.
Yeah. You know how it is.
So it's, so you have the 5 years of registered architect, engineer, or others acceptable to the building official.
Where can we find the
Yeah, it's always on the.
So if John doesn't create a licensing, you have to be, the only other current training right now is through the National Fire Safety Database. That's the only other one right now. But then he still has to accept it. So does San Francisco, so does
Same business.
Pasadena and anybody else or whatever. Okay?
It's good though.
You know, only by, and I have another year on my.
Oh, for your, I think we're just hired.
Back one?
Well, only me, I mean, like, I don't, my next year I can
Yeah.
retire, but Rec 4 every day, costs me 2 more. I can go you know what, 1 year testing. Yeah.
Correct, you can only do the Reg 4 test.
5 year testing, I can't do 5 year testing.
You can't do 5
I
year
have to
testing.
hire a guy like that guy, right? Is it-
Right, you have to hire an architect, you can hire us.
That's my question.
So you're,
It's something that.
I'll have that guy come, I'm not gonna.
But somebody you can do it though, if you see something. You know, as I learned, but,
I'm not gonna call him,
right, yeah. You guys are right. I'm looking at my, and I've only done a few.
all right, great, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I hope this is not something you guys, oh yeah, that's started.
Right, so again, that's a good question to ask John, while we're here. Which way? All we're trying to basically, so everybody grab your stuff, come back and have a seat so we can keep our...
You said the report.
Yeah, I have it here. I'm gonna go over it. It's one of my questions. If there's a 5 year, that's easier for you now. If there's no 5 year, that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So, well, what we're gonna answer. So everybody have your waters, here we go again.
Start doing, farm testing.
All right, so,
My testing.
out of coffee. Oh, no. Get on the bat phone here. Alan, you wanna grab, just dial 0 here? Ask for, I think it's Carl's asking if we were out of coffee. Yeah, just double check. Thank you. All right, everybody ready? Here we go. So, some of these questions are gonna be great questions for John in regards to some of the questionnaire, which, by the way, that questionnaire is some of the questions I have on my test, but I wasn't asked to produce that questionnaire. But some of those questionnaires came out of information that I supplied to Reg 4 years ago. With, what's his name? Forgot his...
Franco.
No, the gentleman who ran Reg 4.
Franco.
No, not Franco, it was after Franco, Bolden.
Oh, Bolden.
Is it Bolton or
Bolden.
Bolden, yeah. He ran that by himself with his girl, what's her name?
Mark Lee.
Yes, okay, so.
The both of them ran away from his program.
Hold on tight. All right, guys, so let's watch the next video. But actually, before I want, did John step up?
Yeah, he said it's too much for him.
We're gonna play the next video, and this is so this is 2003. That video is 2000. I mean, this was 1973,
Yeah.
and it triggered the 5 year because they said no, we got to stay on top of it. But enforcement is the key. If it's not, if there's no enforcement, you can quickly lose. Then I did this in 2003. Now this is 2018. So is anybody else outside or? Thank you. Okay. John?
Coffee ready.
John, thank you. I think John left, but,
No, he went to the restaurant. His son is ready.
oh, okay. So I'd like him to see the next piece, because this is New York City where there was a fatality, you know what I'm saying? So, again, the questions that we have on this thing, just remember, everything changes for you.
Basically, every Thursday, Thursday, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything changes for you now when there's a 5-year already done. You guys see how comfortable you are now once the 5 year is done?
Yeah.
You're all back into, this has just been backwards with, if you never did a 5 year, you know what I'm saying? It puts a lot of pressure on you. If there's never a 5 year on your standpipes, you can imagine the kind of pressure. If there's never an inspection on your alarm systems ever, and you're coming in just to see if the electric is on, there's a lot of pressure on you to say, does it work? So, wait, I'm just gonna check to see if there's power to it, you know what I'm saying? So, this is the only correction that needs to make. And John, are we correct in the statement that says, we keep this as a Reg 4, because you're still, until the Reg 4 changes a year from now, today, 5 years from now, and adds this 5 year, because he has to do that administratively in the back end, you're basically just saying, you're still submitting you're submitting a 5 year through the 1 year, correct?
One more time.
So,
No, in other words, you're saying,
you're required to do an annual.
correct, yeah, yeah,
So no matter what, that building can never skip the annual.
correct.
You're basically saying that you walk into a train wreck,
Yeah.
you step right back and say, this has got to be a 5 year, but you're not performing the 5 year, you're going to sub that out to the